Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to another story time brought to you by ABC Read and ABC Learn, in which we are here to help develop and nurture that love of reading in every child as well as every adult. How are you all doing out there today, evening? If it's real late at night, if it's really early in the morning, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are around the globe. I hope that you all are doing fabulous. And I hope that you all have read or you're planning to read for at least 30 minutes. All right, y'all, we are pumped here. We are here at the Summer Rise Reading Camp again at the African American Cultural Gardens. And I know you all see that beautiful sunshine, right? Alhamdulillah. Oh my goodness, all praise is due to God because it is absolutely gorgeous. It was raining earlier this morning and I was a little concerned. I was like, I said, are we gonna have to try to either reschedule or have it somewhere else? But then I said, you know what? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna keep on pushing. Dun, dun, and we did it, and oh my goodness, the sun just came out. It was just like, wow. Like I said, alhamdulillah, all praise is due to God, y'all. And before we get started, I wanted to share with you all again another benefit to reading aloud, which is when you're reading aloud, you get to travel. You get to be inspired by those books, right? So when that person, your family, whoever it is that's doing those read alouds, or if you are reading aloud to someone, you guys get to travel and go to many different places. You get to learn about many different cultures and get inspired, all right? Get inspired to do what, you may ask? Hey, you may get inspired to paint. Like today, we are doing our painting. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to show you guys my children's beautiful artwork, by the way. So you get to maybe get inspired to do paintings or to write a book, all right? Or you may get inspired to start your own business, whatever it is that you want to do. Reading aloud can help you to be inspired, all right? All right, y'all, so let's get started, y'all, on our read aloud today. Awesome. You guys see this gorgeous book. Let's read the title together. Radiant Child. The story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. All right, awesome. Oh my goodness, have you all ever heard of this wonderful man? Have you ever heard of him? Look at this awesome picture. Gorgeous. And the author, his name is Javaka Steptoe. All right, what do you all think this story is going to be about? Look at this awesome cover. You see all of these different things on the cover. There are so many different things on here. I see something that caught my eye, probably just being a mom and using this. Sometimes you use this right here. This is called baking soda, all right? You see that box right there, that Arm & Hammer baking soda right there? Here's another thing that caught my eye. You see those blocks? For all you parents out there, you have little babies and they are playing with these blocks. So there are all different types of things in here, right? On this cover. Well, let's find out about this radiant child. Awesome, look at this. Gorgeous painting.
Get away on
Somewhere in Brooklyn, between hearts that thump, double dutch, and hopscotch, and salty mouths that slurp sweet ice, a little boy dreams of being a famous artist. In his house, you can tell a serious artist dwells as he sits at a table with pencils scattered everywhere. Jean-Michel draws from morning until night with a serious face amid a storm of papers. He refuses to sleep until he has created a masterpiece. At night, images enchant Jean-Michel's mind, and he wakes from his dreams to add one more line. His drawings are not neat or clean, nor does he color inside the lines. They are sloppy, ugly, and sometimes weird, but somehow still beautiful.
Let me get mine. My hair needs to be back to my
His art comes from his mother, Matilda, a Puerto Rican woman who designs and sews, cooks and cleans, and makes the house look like a stylish magazine. But most important, she lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel on his father's old work papers.
Can't you see this on the back?
From her, he learns that art is not only in the poetry books she reads to him, or in the theaters and museums they visit. Art is the street games of little children and our style and the words that we speak. It is how the messy patchwork of the city creates new meaning for ordinary things. While visiting the museum, they look at his favorite works of art. Reading the story behind each artist, reading the story behind each work, this is how Jean-Michel learns what it means to be a famous artist.
All of the colors mixed together makes green.
Back at home, he creates art on the floor as his father, Gerard, plays jazz records. Mama Matilde cooks arroz con pollo and calls Jean-Michel mi amor. The energy and life of the city can be felt in each line of his drawings. As time goes by, Jean-Michel learns that art has a healing power. After a car accident, he is scared and confused. Matilda gives him a book to calm his fears. It is filled with pictures of bones, skulls, and other body parts. Jean-Michel draws from it until he knows it all by heart. He is no longer afraid. Back at home, Jean-Michel's body heals, but his heart breaks. His mother's mind is not well, and the family breaks. She no longer lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel, but sits by the window singing only to birds.
My rock is almost
Jean-Michel is confused and filled with a terrible blues when Matilda can no longer live at home. He tries drawing the terrible out of his blues, but things are not the same. As Jean-Michel grows older, he visits his mother when he can, always bringing his artwork to show, telling her that one day it will be in a museum when I am a famous artist. A teenager now, Jean-Michel decides, Papa, I will be very, very famous one day. With a sly look, a twinkle in his eye, Jean-Michel leaves Brooklyn for New York City, the Lower East Side, a concrete jungle where only the tough survive. During the day, dressed in a green jumpsuit, splattered with paint, Jean-Michel stays with friends, sleeping on couches and floors, leaving a barrage of collages and poem-filled papers everywhere he goes. At night, Jean-Michel spray paints the walls downtown with poems and drawings that catch the eye of artists, gallery goers, and passers-by. Under his art, he signs the name Samo instead of Jean-Michel. Everybody wants to know, who is Samo? Samo moves from street corners to art gallery walls with powerful color composition and line, collaging and painting on anything he can find. His art is still not neat or clean, and definitely not inside the lines, but somehow still beautiful. With his magical charm, Jean-Michel draws a crowd. But when it's time to work, he prefers to be alone with the radio and TV on full blast. Now in expensive suits splattered with paint, he flips through stacks of magazines and open books and paints into the night, and sometimes for days at a time, while sounds and images jump into his head. Jean-Michel, an artist among artists, never doubts one line, creating from a soundtrack that is all his own. People describe him as radiant, wild, a genius child. But in his heart, he is king. So he draws crowns for himself and others he admires. A grown man now, with the art world in his hands, Jean-Michel still visits his mother when he can. And at his most important shows, above all the critics, fans, and artists he admires, the place of honor is his mother's, a queen on a throne. He is now a famous artist. The end. And right here, what I'm showing you guys in the back of this awesome book, the author gives more information about Jean-Michel Basquiat.
See if this is gonna wash away.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I hope that you all thought this book was awesome. And of course, what I wanted to do, I wanted to ask you all a couple of questions about this story. I want to see if you guys remember some of the things that they talked about in the story. And I'm going to ask my daughter, Sauda, to come help me out with that a little bit. So I wanted to ask you, Sauda, do you remember what was it that people called Jean-Michel? What did they say about him? How did they describe him? You remember those adjectives that I said?
Radiant, wild, a genius child.
Excellent,
Radiant,
excellent.
wild, a genius child. Radiant, wild, a genius child.
And do you all remember how he was inspired to start to paint? Do you remember that in the story?
We saw all their famous artists and he learned from that lady.
That lady, who was that lady that he learned from?
It looks like a regular stick, but
The lady that she's referring to is what? Is who? His mother. Remember, his mother would take him to museums and he would see different artwork. Wow, you guys, awesome, awesome, awesome. And what I want to do, I want you guys, as I'm going to stop this part, and I'm going to